So for today's video, I want to talk about the problem with blue states and how so many people kind of fetishize it as this just like perfect paradise where there's no bigotry and everybody skips together hands in hand. No, it's really not. In fact, there's actually a lot of racism and homophobia and all other forms of bigotry inside blue states, and not just in the small rural areas. God, I cannot words today. But also in the big city. It's like I live in a blue state, Washington, and the small town I live in is extremely conservative. I'm afraid to even come out because I know if I do, I will probably be not only discriminated against heavily, but I know that people will probably beat me up or something, and the cops will probably just fucking ignore it. Now, I know this sounds like a harsh generalization, but no, I could realistically see that happening. Honestly, the conservative areas in Washington are on par with, like, frickin' Tea Party level conservatives. If you don't believe me, actually look up what conservatives in Washington tend to believe. A lot of them are anti-maskers. A lot of them are very, very far-right Christian. A lot of them, there are even Christian nationalists here. That is how far-right our right wing in Washington goes. When you say, oh, I want to live in a blue state, it's so tolerant and accepting and loving, that's only the big cities. And even then, the big cities are just mostly corporate liberals. God, really cannot words today. That only fucking care about looking good. Yeah, they're tolerant and accepting of you till you fucking have an opinion they don't like. Then all of a sudden, they will call you racial slurs, call you homophobic slurs, call you ableist slur, but still pretend like, oh, we're the good. And look, I'm not saying that there's nobody here who's tolerant or accepting. One of the people I know has actually knows that I'm trans and knows that I am pansexual, and has been very accepting of that fact. So again, there are good people here. Hell, the little local college I go to actually does, have rules against being discriminatory, which is a good thing in my personal opinion. But again, those are the exceptions, not the rule. If you really want to live in a place without racism or homophobia, that place does not fucking exist. Now look, don't get me wrong, do I wish we lived in a perfect world where all the systemic racism, all the individual racism, all the other forms of bigotry were just wiped out? Yeah, of course I do, but that's just not the world we live in. And look, am I saying that blue states aren't any better than red states? Well, no, not exactly. Again, it depends on the area where you live, but these small towns, they pretty much unanimously tend to be extremely angry conservatives that blame the left or the liberals for their problems instead of blaming the actual cause, the corporations, the fucking politicians that only care about lining their own pocket and leaving the rest of us out to starve. Again, and here's the thing, I get it. It's easier to fight this fake problem than to fight against the real problem, because we've been fighting against the real problem for years, and it hasn't improved much over the goddamn years we've been fighting. But honestly, I think fighting them is a lot more important than just blaming gay people for all your issues. So, this is an open letter. Stop fetishizing blue states. It's not this perfect, wonderful thing you think it is. Bye-bye. From Derek Diana Johnson.